Today on the Topic Show, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. Also, San Francisco Health Nut says that eating less cake is oppressive as fat pride continues to grow, pun intended. Germany police disarm an old Christian woman of her Swiss Army knife. Fani Willis is disqualified from the election interference case against Donald Trump. The EPA to allow California to ban gas cars. Dodge won't admit that you can fit a V8 into their EV charger. Feds mandate rear passenger seatbelt alert. And kids' Bluetooth speakers are being recalled. All of that and much, much more on The Topping Show. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase. Yes, it does include a Picatinny rail adapter, so you can mount it to any standard AR-15, like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more, or click the link in the description. Lastly, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. In fact, that would be my Christmas wish. If you can click that subscribe button, it would make my day. Greatly appreciate it. Now, going to the business part of the podcast, you have Dodge won't admit if you can or cannot fit a V8 into their new EV charger, which, yeah, a lot of people suspect if you could fit a V8, if you could fit the Elephant engine from Dodge, which 1,001 horsepower, I don't think it's possible to talk about or see one of those engines and not smile ear to ear. As Tim the Toolman Taylor would say in Home Improvement, he would say, oh, no, no. That is just pure awesomeness. And if you could fit one of those into a Mazda Miata, I can't help but think you could probably make it fit here. Now, this comes to us thanks to Nico, who is a writer at The Drive, where they say, quote, Dodge won't admit the new Charger can fit a Hemi V8, and we know why. Here you can see the iconic Dodge Hemi. And then you can see the new designed Charger, which does have a lot of the same overall concepts as the previous version in terms of aesthetics, but looks a little bit more angular and almost looks like a bastardized Nissan, if you ask me. But I could suppose if you were inebriated and you drank enough, it could look like a Charger. Don't get me wrong. Now they say, quote, it's a simple question. Does the old Hemi V8 physically fit in a 2024 Charger engine bay? But Dodge's refusal to answer says a lot about its current problems. Because I can't but think, again, they'll dive into the article, but yeah, if they admit they can, everyone will think, well, this is what could have been. And even worse is a fascinating business phenomenon called the Osborne effect. It's a fact, actually, a term coined from a company called the Osborne Company. They were manufacturing computers way back in the day when computers were the size of a heavy briefcase. And the Osborne Company came out with a computer, and it was pretty good. It had good speeds and feeds, RAM and all that kind of good stuff. And they started to sell a little bit. However, right after a couple of days of launching their first product, the Osborne 1, they said, well, we're going to soon come out with the Osborne 2. It'll have more RAM, more memory, faster compute power, and by the way, it'll cost less. That gave a lot of people incentive not to buy the first product, and so many people decided not to because, again, the newer product was going to be cheaper and better that they subsequently had so few sales, the company went bankrupt, and now it's really known as a business use case. And I can't but think, Stellantis is already hurting. Not a lot of people are going to buy this to begin with. If they admit, oh yeah, you can fit a V8 in there. By the way, our old CEO is out. We're going to get a new CEO. A lot of people are wondering, well, will they learn from their hubris of taking away what consumers wanted was a big, gnarly V8? You're buying a Dodge, you want a Hemi. It's the whole brand. It's what made the company unique for decades. Brilliant patent and brilliant feat of engineering. And yet now they have a straight six turbo, which is in pretty much every Stellantis vehicle, which, again, you're taking away the heart of the vehicle that makes it so unique. And they'll also have an EV version for all 18 people in San Francisco who want to buy them. I'm only partially kidding, but yeah, when it comes to what people want in a Charger, much different than what people want in, let's say, for Tesla, or even one of the performance EV brands, which you can debate, is that even a thing? Another topic for another time, perhaps. Now, diving into the article, they say, quote, yesterday, Jalopnik published a story citing anonymous sources from a Dodge engineer who said that the old V8 couldn't fit were skeptical about that, so we reached out to Dodge and Stellantis PR to ask point blank if it's physically impossible to stuff a Hemi into the new car. Dodge's response: Dodge is focused. This is hilarious. This is like a politician from Dodge. It's a quote: Dodge is focused on launching all new electric Dodge Charger Daytona models, as well as the Dodge Charger 6-pack ICE option models next year. We have nothing additional to share in regard to potential future products. Which, it reeks of what a politician would say. I understand why they're doing it, but yeah, everyone's just saying, really? Because the lovely thing about chop shops or, custom car companies and YouTubers, I mean, as soon as one of these Dodge EV bastardizations hit the streets, or even with the straight six, as soon as it gets sold, one of the first persons to buy it, and I pray they do it, it's going to be a YouTuber or a creator who is going to rip out that abomination of a powertrain and put in a good old elephant engine with 1,000 or 1,001 horsepower, a big gnarly V8. And then everyone will see, oh, so it is possible. You don't even need to retool the whole vehicle. You just, it's more complex than Legos, yes, of course, but you could just rip and replace and make it great again, some might argue. Now, they continue to say, here you can see another side of the vehicle now that you would want, which, again, if you're really, man, it almost looks like a bastardized Nissan. Or maybe even a bastardized Camaro. There are a couple good angles on this car, but just a majority of it just, to me, just doesn't look unique enough, but that's just me. They say that's a heck of a non-answer, and we can guess why. It's actually the question. First, the engineer's full statement was that the V8 wouldn't fit without cost-prohibitive changes to the cradle and firewall, which leads to the important question. With enough elbow grease and a can-do attitude, can you stuff a big engine into anything? And I don't mean just a backyard wrenchers LS swapping a Miata, Jeep dropping a 6.4-liter V8 in the Wrangler from the factory, which, again, Dodge and Jeep, they used to do the craziest cool things. They're putting giant V8 engines into a little SUV for soccer moms. It was awesome. And when I see them on the streets, every once in a while, I'll recognize those giant Brembo brakes the size of your foot. And I smile because I know some engineers just went above and beyond to make that unique powertrain, that unique package for a consumer. Now, they continue to say, and here, oh, I'm sorry. We're going to show you the new engine. Oh, it's disgusting. Stellantis. And don't get me wrong. It's all about managing expectations. My Honda, yes, I'd love to have a V8 stuck in my car. It'd be comically hilarious. But the Honda Civic, people love having a straight, just having 4 cylinders of greatness, turbocharged and stick shift. It's what's been the brand staple for decades. It's what they expect. BMW, they make a great straight six with a stick shift. I admire BMW. I'm not sure if I can afford the maintenance on one, but I admire their engineering. It's what they expect. People who buy Chargers want the Hemi. They've got it for decades. And now you have this really uninspiring twin-turbo V6, which it's a good engine, but it's the placement in this vehicle that is just viscerally having a lot of people throw up in their mouth. Now, on the left, you can see the beautiful V8 that Chrysler, Stellantis, Dodge used to make. And to the right, you can see the new Stellantis, straight six with the, which, again, for cost-wise, makes a lot of sense. They put the same engine in 17 car brands now. Stellantis, their portfolio is I think it's a little bit too big for most companies to manage, and that's why they're failing so epically. But yeah, look at the screen. What would you rather have for a Charger? A good old V8 Hemi? Or a straight six, twin turbo, automatic only? Don't even get me started on that note. Now, they continue saying, well, looking at the big picture, the real reason Dodge won't answer is because a new V8 in the Charger is possible, but highly, highly unlikely. The cost issue is important. Stellantis isn't exactly in the best position to be blowing out a bunch of cash to adopt supply and production lines for a different engine, which, again, they also took it out of the Dodge truck, too. They used to have the 1500 truck, the entry-level truck. It used to be a V8, pretty much every competitor, including Ford, GMC and Chevy the same, but you know what I mean. Most popular trucks, they all started the 1500 series with a V8. Dodge, while yes, it does have more torque, the speeds and feeds are better, the 1500 new Dodge truck, or the Ram, now comes with, again, that twin-turbo V6, or sorry, straight six in this particular case. No V, just a simple straight line. Now, they argue in the article that isn't even possible to actually make a profit on this, which, again, if you didn't destroy your whole supply chain and your whole, assembly of making V8s, it would be a lot easier. Now, going to the comments, I wonder, maybe I'm alone in this analysis, or maybe everyone's giving Dodge praise, like, oh yeah, it's fine. Who needs a V8 anyway? Obviously, I'm kidding. Let's go in the comments and find out here. And maybe I'll hurt your eyes a little bit by putting another here. I'll let you look at the side of the Dodge, which again looks like a bastardized Nissan mush with the Camaro. Which, again, if this is a new car, like a new product name from the ground up, I think the fans would be a little more forgiving. But again, you have a brand heritage that's gone decades and decades, and I can see the elements of where they try to stick to the original design, but I think they deviated a little too much for most of the fans to appreciate the new design of it. Now, going to the comments, one of the first ones comes from Michael Spartato. Says, quote, "It likely fits, but due to the emphasis, it'd make dissipating crash energy difficult." FCA gave the answer some extras years ago when the JR Wrangler launched without a V8 that eventually found a way to make it. See Rubicon 392. But the press releases for both the concept truck and production were explicitly mentioned the front section of the frame, which is redesigned to accommodate the V8. Alaska Man, which I've heard of Florida Man. Is that a new thing? Alaska Man? Perhaps. He says, quote, the latest of Dodge V8 is hardly what I consider old school. This is cutting edge technology that's reliably made. Big power and light compact engines. I just laughed because when I think of Dodge reliable, it's the antithesis of reliability these days. My parents bought a 2001 Grand Caravan. It was good for the environment in terms of a life cycle. It immediately turned to rust and returned it to the earth elements, which is a sad thing because the Dodge brothers, when they founded the company, were very much about reliability. But nevertheless, he says so much more could be done. At least Ford is holding on the ICE V8s live on their trucks and muscle cars, which give Ford credit. And Jim Farley, the CEO, he said he doesn't care what the competition is doing. Ford will always make a fun V8 sports car, which these days is pretty rare. I mean, General Motors killed the Camaro altogether. Rumor is there'll be an EV two-door SUV. And yeah, when it comes to the Charger and the Challenger, it's EV or straight six, both without a manual transmission. Gotta give Ford credit. I always like the styling a little bit more of the Camaro, but I think it's safe to say that Ford did win the Pony Wars. You also have BL saying, I don't think a clean message makes up for it being one that the loyal customer base doesn't want to hear. No one wants to hear about how we need to cut back on emissions, but it still needs to happen. He did get 3 likes. Yeah, I don't know about that. But that is one of the reasons why many automotive companies are being kneecapped and you're having less and less fun vehicles and more EVs, which we really debate about in regards to life cycle asset management and if that's actually better for the earth. But yeah, a lot of companies are being kneecapped to make more and more EVs and hybrids because the government's doing a de facto ban on them with tailpipe emission standards as well as fuel economy standards and all that kind of stuff. So there is also a de facto ban. So Ford is making so many EVs, so they can still make the good stuff. So that is also another variable. Scrolling down more and more. Metal Marla says, so I'm looking forward to the 2 SEMA swap coming soon. Prelude Type R and a new Charger Hellcat swap, which, yeah, there will be some cool folks that do that. Unfortunately, I'm not sure. That's not going to be a mass-produced product. That's going to be very much boutique one-offs. Again, going back to the environment, it used to be a company that in California, or California, as some people call it, they used to be a company that made a Mazda Miata, and their whole business model was swap it out for a big old V8, which is a comical thing to do with such a small, lightweight vehicle, to take an inline-4 engine, which, God admire Mazda, still comes with a stick shift, and yeah, they just put in a big old V8, which there's something cool about that, but California shut that part down of business, unfortunately. So it looks like, yeah, I suspect you could probably cram it in, and yeah, we'll see some custom folks do it. But in terms of, will Dodge actually bring back the V8? I hope so, but let's just say I wouldn't hold out. I don't think it's going to be the Christmas miracle people are hoping for. Other interesting business news, you have the federal government having yet another mandate to kneecap the automotive community, this time a mandate for rear passenger seat alerts, which, yeah, it's going to get pretty annoying pretty quick. And also, yay, more cost increase to the consumers. It is hilariously ironic, in a dark humor way perhaps, that the people who say they care most about the poor continuously push for more regulations and more things that will increase the cost of goods to the consumer, very similar to when Obama administration forced every car company to have a rear backup camera. Again, I think it's a good thing for vehicles to have, but I don't think it's the government's job to force that. And the free market was already doing that for most vehicles. It really just hurt the lower class because, again, the lower priced vehicles didn't have it there because, again, it's the cost increase. And yet again, this is something where I think a lot of cars are starting to have it on their own, but the government wants to force more stuff down our throats. Now, this comes to us thanks to Ronan, who's a writer at The Drive. And he says, quote, new federal law mandates rear passenger seatbelt alerts in new cars. They claim that the NHTSA says seatbelts reduce the risk of fatality. I understand that. For rear seat passengers by 55% for cars, 74% in SUVs, yet rear seatbelt use stands at about 81.7%. Now, off the bat, when I read the article here, we'll dive into in a second, but, well, get ready to pay for more sensors, which are more things that could break inevitably on your vehicle, as opposed to a parent just turning around and being a parent and looking at your kid and making sure they actually clicked the seatbelt in. Yeah. So again, at the very least, I'm guessing you're going to need either, if you want to do it properly in terms of not annoying the shit out of the customer, you're going to have a pressure plate or some type of sensor to see if there's pressure on the seat. And that way, ideally, the notification will go off if there's nothing in your seat. It's also going to be annoying as hell if you ever use your car to haul anything or do any grocery shopping. If you put stuff in your back seats and you don't put the seatbelt on, depending on the weight of that product or produce you put there, then you're going to get that annoying buzzing or ring. I can't help but think and hope it'll be an easy fuse to pull out of the fuse box, but I partially digress. Here you can see a little notification of what it could look like. It's got the, and I think the Honda already does this, the Odyssey. Now, they say, quote, starting September 1st, 2027, every new car and light truck sold in the United States, oh, farmers are going to love that, jeez, will feature an additional chime by law. The Department of Transportation announced that the rear seatbelt system reminders, which have been mandatory in Europe since 2019, will require in our market too. In late 2027, timeline suggests that car makers will have up until 2028 model year to comply with the new regulation, though it wouldn't surprise us if some companies roll this out feature across their ranges well before the deadline. While the industry has a proven track record of resisting change, adding a seatbelt reminder system to the rear seats should be relatively cheap and straightforward, given the technology already exists in present as well as many models. It's also going to increase the cost of goods sold. Again, a wise man by the name of Tao Sewell once said there's no such thing as solutions, only trade-offs, which this is, again, most certainly no use case of that theory being proven right. Now they say, pulling up this here, the same technology that beeps if you don't wear a seatbelt while driving, but it covers the rear seat passenger too. In a nutshell, the sensor detects that the seat is occupied, knows whether the seatbelt is buckled, and triggers the chime if it's not, which I don't recommend this. However, I can't help but think a lot of people online will buy we actually have companies online that will sell you the end of the seatbelt, so just the clicky part, and they'll just put those in the back seat. If I had an SUV or something like that, I mean, I'm single, so I'm not sure the odds I would ever need one would be in terms of immediate future. Perhaps even then, I would want a stick shift, you know me. So, I mean, realistically, looking at an SUV, probably a 2009 Cayenne GTS with a V8 and a stick shift. Doesn't affect me, but nevertheless, imagine how annoying that is if you're hauling any groceries or any work supplies. Every time you throw stuff in the back seat, you gotta hear that chime the whole drive. Yeah, that'll be fun. Now, you know that the idea is that the chime is annoying enough to convince unbuckled passengers to buckle up, or at least make the driver beg them to. Sensors and the related wiring cost money, but the extra costs associated with the new regulation should be negligible at best. Yeah, and yet they don't give us a breakdown analysis of what those sensors cost. Also, another thing I don't like about modern cars, every time there's a new sensor, every time there's a new widget, inevitably it'll mean more cost to repair, more cost to maintain, and a less reliable vehicle overall. Can't but think peak reliability was 2001 era with Japanese automotive. Those cars just don't break. Parents still drive a 2001 Honda Accord that they bought new. That's bulletproof technology. Tried and proven. Not too many bells and whistles. Still works like a champ. But yeah, it looks like it'll be interesting to see if there's really any pushback from the community. Maybe I'm alone in this assessment. Probably not, but let's look at the comments here. Well, the first comments comes from Dave saying, quote, I put stuff in the backseat all the time. This is going to get annoying really quick. Getting 8 likes, which, again, I think in those situations, you'll go online, I think like $5 to $13. You can buy the buckle of the belt and you'll have an extra one and you'll just click it in all of them. I think for most people, that'd be and again, I don't recommend this, but I would think I would do that, or I'd pull the fuse if that's possible, or detach the sensor. There's usually a way to work around this crap. You also have Surefire321 saying, are there provisions to address child seats in the rear? Do I have to buckle the factory belt before installing the child seat with latch points? I'm all for safety, but this seems regulation for regulation's sake, getting 3 likes. Or some parts of the government perhaps want a futile attempt to show that they do things. Scrolling down more and more, Ashley McBride says, I think people will buckle their rear belts all the time and leave them. Yeah, people aren't going to buckle up. They can't be convinced. Legislating it feels fine, but don't expect it to actually accomplish anything. Getting 2 likes. Lifer says, time for the Eds to F off. I wear my seatbelt, but the chime is annoying. Thankfully, I'll be able to use a tuner to disable it in my Gladiator. Getting 4 likes. Yep. Bone says, time to put seatbelts on your luggage, everyone. Getting 4 likes. Yep. So, yeah, there's more than 2 folks agreeing, but overall, yeah, people are seeing the downside of this. And of course, I understand this. If you're a really bad parent, this very well might assist. Or if maybe you have a child who's more rebellious and they undo the buckle. I understand it has good intentions, but the age-old saying is, we all know that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So we'll see if there's any real pushback from the automotive community, or if any of them do any lobbying or legislating, or if there's just a visceral pushback from the general public that the government backs off. We'll see what happens. I think there's going to be a lot of regulation with the new Trump administration when it comes to automobiles. Hopefully deregulation, because that usually decreases cost and boosts innovation. But let me know your thoughts. Do you think this should be something that's forced down manufacturers and consumers? Let me know, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the cultural part podcast, you have the San Francisco weight czar saying that eating less cake is oppressive as fat pride continues to grow. Last part, pun intended. This comes from the Looney Tune area of San Francisco, which, again, if it wasn't for the culture and politics, it is one of the most beautiful places on the planet. I've had the privilege of visiting once for a tech training way back in the day. And again, it wasn't for the taxes, regulations, the culture, and the people. It'd be a great place to live. But unfortunately, no, they're stuck in their insanity. Though pretty good food, I'll give them that. Now, this comes with things to end wokeness. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was a Grinch for a second there, but she's actually, no, she's a really big gal with fashion sense from the never, that fashion was never good. Now, he says, San Francisco weight czar Virgil Tovar on why eating less cake is oppression. And, yeah, should have given you a visual warning. She's quite large and unfortunately in charge of something. And again, she has those crazy leftist glasses, which never look good. She has about 15 chins in this video. And again, this is an issue in the United States, especially with there's a lot of people who have a lot of health issues, and there are some people where it's very hard for them to lose weight. I understand that. But I can't think for a vast majority of people, being overweight is a choice. And we make choices every single day. The most rudimentary argument I always hear is, you have to have a lot of money to eat healthy. Well, throughout my life, there have been times where I did live below the poverty line. And back in my day, you get a 2-pound bag of carrots from Walmart for under $2. Thanks to inflation, that's no longer the case. It's about $249.99 now, or realistically, after sales or extortion tax, about $265, I would say. But again, if you buy from bulk from Walmart and other places like that, you can eat healthy. It's not as convenient to prepare your food, but yeah, I hate hearing that argument of, oh yeah, you can only eat healthy if you're rich. Absolutely not the case. And also, you can work out at home for free. Calisthenics is one of the first things that help Arnold Schwarzenegger get buff, aka things just using your own body weight. Push-ups, sit-ups, those are free. You can do them at home. So again, I understand there's some folks who, due to medical issues, it can be hard for them to lose weight. And I don't mean any disrespect to them. But the people who are making these unhealthy choices and, more horrifying, glorifying them, we should. And if anything, we should be pushing each other and encouraging each other to get healthier mentally and physically in the United States. That's not the culture right now. I hope that changes very soon. But no, she is actually praising people to do less and be subpar and be, what's the opposite of excellence? Not, instead of striving for excellence and be all can be, she's just saying be. In this case, be cake or eat cake. But it's about 2 minutes and 42 seconds long. This might be not very Merry Christmas if you're watching this whole thing. It could be insufferable, but hopefully it's moderately entertaining to watch her argument. Well, more like insane rant, but nevertheless, let's see what she has to say.
CRFI. If you're like many women, you've been to a birthday party or
Another quick funny note, it's always about the women. There's never fat encouragement for guys, partially because, yeah, guys actually have to perform. Now, I'm not sure. It's funny, some of the comments think this is a fashion show. Obviously not. I have one good suit. Oh, wait. I have 2 good suits now because of my Christmas one. But, yeah, not to make fun of her fashion too much. But, looks like she has a blazer on. And it's pink. And she has about 15 pounds of these artisan-looking beads around her neck. Which, yeah, they look very industrial. Maybe she's doing some weight training. Obviously she's not, but.
Small office gathering.
Oh, sorry. Let me rewind that.
CRFI. If you're like many women, you've been to a birthday party or a small office gathering, an event that's meant to bring people together. There's swinging tunes, some adult beverages, and good convo. And then it comes time to cut the cake, and someone decides to ruin everything.
Oh my God, that slice is huge. That slice is bigger than Beyonce's paycheck. Can you cut me half of that?
A cake-related fat-phobic incident, or CRFI, is that moment when it's time to eat delicious cake and it's interrupted by a moralizing impulse.
What, impulse means self-control, like eat less cake?
Inevitably, there's always someone at the party who has to declare publicly that their slice is too large.
So you want people to overeat. You don't want people to have, I know she probably doesn't, based on her personality, she doesn't have self-control, but everyone should have self-control and exercise it thoroughly. Well, she should exercise in general as well, but there's nothing wrong with going to a party and saying, can I get a smaller slice? If you're a health nut like me, sometimes you'll be the weirdo who doesn't eat any cake. And guess what? I have a spine, so I don't care what other people think.
And that the person who's cutting the cake, almost invariably a woman, must do some disproportionate amount of labor in order to accommodate their need to feel superior. Let's take a look.
Can you do a little bit, just like, can you like scrape all the frost?
Another conspiracy theory, who's telling women that the cow ring on their nose is attractive? It's one of the most unattractive things on the planet to have the cow ring. Yeah, it's also hilarious when they're as big as a cow to just reinforce the cliche of wearing a cow ring. I don't know why it's half the dating profiles on the internet these days, but it blows my mind. I don't know who's brainwashing these gals to tell them it's attractive. It's not. And you see this gal who's so lazy she didn't even button up both sides of her overalls. She just has one of the buttons on. And she has, of course, short hair and a cow ring. Yeah.
Frosting off and cut it in half and give me 2 forks because I'm sharing. Small, like a little bit more, like tiny, no, like less than what you're small.
It's a Christmas special. It's like she deserves coal. So she's saying it's bad to share? What's wrong with taking a smaller piece and sharing with a friend? Maybe you want to encourage your friend to diet. Maybe you're both trying to improve your health. Again, one of the #1 reasons people die prematurely in the United States is health-related obesity-correlated issues. And a lot of that can be prevented. Again, I know some people struggle with their weight because of health issues. I know there are certain outliers, don't get me wrong, and I hope they get better. But for a lot of people, just a few better choices could radically improve your life. Oh, it's about halfway done.
Smaller, please.
Could you just cut my piece into 12 equal symmetrical little pieces and put each one into a tiny little Tupperware so that I can have a bite for each month of 2018?
I thought she was going to say so you could share with each 12 of her cats, which would be a very nice thing to do, but no, she's still thinking about themselves.
Thanks.
There's nothing wrong with getting smaller portions.
Let's take a step back and view what's happening through a critical feminist lens.
Ah, yes, that lens.
CRFIs typically happen in environments where there are primarily or exclusively women. Women are disproportionately negatively affected by diet culture.
Yes, because men and women have different roles in society, yet no one cares when they make fun of men for not making enough money. I mean, it is a cliche adage as old as time that men are providers. I'm not saying they have to be necessarily. Most of them I know are, but, well, yeah, it's one of the reasons why there's more critique against women. Although, funny enough, culturally in the United States, it's all about giving women accolades and encouraging them to be lazy and overweight. I'll never forget when I saw, and again, let me know in the comments if you do or do not appreciate my moderately ADHD-related comments to the video segments. It's one of those things where the most hilarious thing I ever saw was Dove, which has a long-standing history of pretending they care about women, well, the parent company Unilever. And Dove had an advertisement. They had women the size of Volkswagens using their soap, which my hilarious conspiracy theory is that the same company, Unilever, also owned an ice cream company, a couple ice cream companies. So of course, they want you to get a lot of ice cream and make you bigger because that's, need more soap to use, to clean your body. But I partially digress.
Because diet culture maps onto sexism. Like many parts of diet culture, there is a significant performance component. You have to show others that you are being good. Control.
That you're improving your life? I mean, shouldn't we? I mean, you should want that from all the genders, right? And again, men, I mean, usually women, on average, men and women are different. I know leftists don't want to admit that, but I mean, guys usually just make fun of each other until they lose weight. Bill Burr, the comedian, is famous for ranting about this. And for men, again, everyone's different, but on average, that is actually a good way to do it. Give them a little bit of positive encouragement, but make fun of them, and guys will get in shape. Women, on average, I would argue they need a little bit more nurturing and encouragement. And again, I know a lot of female friends who have lost weight throughout the years.
Controlling how much you eat is part of what it means to be a, quote, good woman. This kind of behavior...
No, I mean, having self-control is good for everyone. I mean, no one should... I mean, it's a cliche as old as time. Again, the 7 deadly sins. But no one should be thinking, oh yeah, let's not have self-control. Let's eat the whole cake. Let's eat the largest piece possible. I mean, no, nobody looks good at that at a party. Even when men are eating 25 pieces of cake, like, you always give that person a weird look, like, really? Shouldn't you let everyone else have at least one piece first, Johnny? I'm kidding, I don't even know Johnny in that regard. But again, self-control for anyone, I would say, is unattractive and not encouraged.
Behavior is a way for people to keep other people in check through food moralizing, surveillance, and policing. These are the mechanisms that are at the core of diet culture and weight control. The idea that you can position yourself as superior to others through self-control and self-denial is super sexist.
No, that's how I actually respect a lot of people, because they have self-control, men and women. That's part of what used to become being an adult. I know we have a lot of people who don't want to grow up these days, but part of being an adult is having self-control. It's why most people go to work every day. They don't just sit in bed and eat, what do people eat these days? Doritos or Cheetos, one of the Toes things. They actually go to work because they have self-control. They know they have to have discipline. I know that is a taboo word by leftist standards, but I mean, discipline is the foundation of success.
CRFIs have a history of creating a hierarchy among women and ultimately in maintaining misogynist expectations.
Yeah. And again, it's hilarious. There's all this encouragement for fat women, but nothing for fat men. Just no fat support groups for guys. And if anything, you should be encouraging everyone to lose weight. You live a lot. I mean, there's so many metrics in your life that get better when you lose weight, and yet, culturally speaking, they just want to say, no, eat more cake. I mean, it's good for Dove because I'll sell more soap because that's a lot more surface area. But I partially digress. Maybe I'm alone in this assessment, thinking they're crazy in San Francisco. Maybe we should all just eat so much cake we can't move, like in the WALL-E movie, where you just sit in those little hover rover cars all day. Now, this went pretty viral. I got 2.4 million views and 14,000 likes. And of course, needless to say, all those ladies should be on the naughty list. And not in a good way. Now, one of the first comments comes from Base Electrician saying, quote, Trump nominates RFK Jr. to make America healthy again. San Francisco hires an obese woman to convince people to stay fat. Yep, they got 1.5 thousand likes. Here's a picture of her looking hilarious with her attempted smile and 15 chins. Where'd you get it? You can take a screenshot of any video. You'll find some awkward frames, some more disproportionate than others. I would argue, probably most of the frames of this video make for awkward, hilarious screenshots. But I'm not going to give her critique too much for looking silly at a screenshot. I did get 1.5 thousand likes. Tim the Toolman says, quote, hashtag Weigel, like gal's name, is gross. She's going to see the consequences of her lifestyle. This is the reality. Muscle mass irreversibly, he says, muscle mass inversely correlates to morality, getting 5 likes. Paul Zupa says, you know who feels better with cake than being with cake? Being healthy, getting 886 likes. Levercat Media TM says, quote, calling her the weight czar is like calling an overweight, confused man who thinks he's a woman the health HHS assistant secretary. Oh, wait, never mind. Getting 296 likes, which, the Biden administration was very unique in that regard, appointing all those people to positions of government power. Cool Christian Engineer says, hey, woman, as a fat gal and all her friends say, leave her alone, she's perfect just the way she is. There's a fat guy and all the guy goes, brother, you must, as someone who loves you, I must tell you, you have to do better. I'm here with you every step of the way. Getting 221 likes, which, yep. Yeah. Lifting weights, I won't say lifting weights will solve every problem in your life. It's not that perfect, but many problems in life can simply be fixed by lifting a couple weights, dusting out those dumbbells, and working up a sweat. Now, Wall Street Apes says a cake-related fat-phobic incident, or CRF, is literally a line this morbidly obese health expert just said in a video, make mental institutions great again, and gained 1.1 thousand likes. Retired publicist says, this is the 3rd time I've looked her up to make sure it's not satire. I'm still skeptical. There's a little off-brand. She's wearing a cheetah leopard design inspired jacket instead of a cow print one. It says San Francisco hires fat positive body image expert to work for health department, which that's ironic. Getting 204 likes. Jane Goddard says stop the fatties, and it's a picture of RFK Jr. in a car. Says get in, we're getting rid of fat people. Getting 256 likes. Dave Sullivan, pronouns, respectively, prosecute Fauci, says, quote, who's fat? There's a AI-generated picture of a leftist woman with, well, kind of redundant to say this, but short blue hair, glasses, a beer gut, rainbow on her shirt, and says, and she's eating lots of chicken, deep fried, not healthy. She says, or the picture says, though they knew it was not, they were already out of sexual strike years before declaring it. Getting 179 likes. Let's see. Oh, did we find a contrarian statement coming from Lulu Chang Maserji? Just quote, I'm actually with her on this. I love cake, and no, I don't want a smaller piece or to scrape the frosting off, and anyone who shames me for it is fatphobic and bad. Getting 24 likes, we did find a contrarian statement. I was going to say, not exactly a Christmas miracle we were looking for, but yeah, again, if someone's obese to the rate where they already have like health issues, and again, there's certain ways to do this. I mean, usually it's best, not too dissimilar from management in corporate America. Usually you want to take that person aside, make sure it's a one-on-one conversation, just say, hey, I know some issues with here. I mean, would you want to come to the gym with me? Could I share my, my beef jerky with you? It's low sodium and low fat. Beef jerky's underrated. Going down more and more. The conservative alternative says Seinfeld summarized it 30 years ago. There's the fat naked guy in the subway from the Seinfeld episode. He says, I'm not ashamed of my body. And then Jerry Seinfeld, tis the season. Maybe I'll have a Christmas miracle. I'll have a perfect enunciation of Jerry Seinfeld. So the big guy goes, I'm not ashamed of my body. And Jerry goes, exactly. That's the problem. You should be. Got 1.2 thousand likes. Not quite as many as this video will get, statistically speaking. Although it might get more than 3 likes. That would be perhaps a Christmas miracle all along. Now, scrolling down to the comments, you also have, oh geez, can't be real. Steve Kerwin says, you don't have to fat shame her, do you? She does all this by herself. These libtard Democrats really don't keep on giving, don't they? Can't wait until she gets a Nike sponsorship deal. Go girl, just do it in a healthy way. There's a AI picture generated of her in a swimsuit. Says Nike, just do it, getting 9 likes. We also have, whoa, this one's very popular. Wrestling Mania RN, and his picture of Trump, and the meme says, shit like this is why I won, getting 370 likes, which, yep. One bad dude also says, they want you sick, they want you unhealthy, getting 191 likes, which, yeah, it's a lot more revenue that can be generated from that. Yeah. So we'll see if the fat acceptance continues to grow, pun moderately intended. I certainly hope so. I certainly hope the culture shifts and everyone works hard to get healthier again. But let me know in the comments your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have the German police profiling Christian ladies and taking away their dangerous Swiss Army knives. You must be defenseless, which is a sure sign of a corrupt, evil, and inept government. You can't carry a Swiss Army knife in Germany. How pathetically anemic and neuter Germany has become. Pathetic. It's also the same country which carries the whole EU on its back, and yet still acquiesces to do what the EU tells them to do. Like making less Porsches and making more EVs. Let me clarify. Making less good Porsches and making EV Porsches, which is an abomination to the Porsche branding of itself. Sure, Ferdinand Porsche made a EV back in his day once or twice, but that was a hiccup. And again, click that subscribe button. It might be a Christmas miracle that gets me to speak perfectly articulately. When I first started the show, barely anyone tuned in, well, maybe family. But as I slowly but surely gained for subscribers, my speaking abilities have improved. Back when I first started the show, I spoke even faster than I do today, and I stumbled over my words as bad as Joe Biden trying to climb upstairs. See, can't even do that right. But as I got more subscribers, it's been slowly but surely improving. So if you can click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, this comes to us thanks to Ian Miles Chong, in which she says, quote, German police are profiling an old white ladies at a Christmas market to confiscate the knives they're carrying for self-protection. The same profiling is not applied to illegal aliens who pose a threat to said old ladies. This is also the same part of the globe where they arrest you if you are, I'm trying to keep this moderately family friendly, if you're abused in an adult content way or contextual way, the police give a harsher punishment to the meme. I'm not kidding. It's visually disgusting what the governments are doing in Europe right now. Now, It's about 46 seconds long. It sounds mostly funny because it's in German, but I'll translate for you if you're listening on the Spotify or the Apple podcast.
Bis heute
And there you see the Gestapo. I mean the German police.
wurde kein Messer gefunden.
They're saying so far no knives today. The police are conducting a bag check.
Dann dürfen Sie gerade einmal zur Kollegin, die schaut gerade mal bei.
And she's saying, what's she saying here? You can go to our colleague. He'll quickly look in your bag. Jeez Louise. A German police officer's nose is like, is she Pinocchio? I mean, that's coming from me. My nose ain't exactly eye candy.
Mal bei Ihnen, genau, ich fang mal mit Ihrer Handtasche an kurz. Sie haben nichts dabei.
She says, let me see your bag. You have nothing with you. No knife?
Dabei, kein Messer. Okay.
Okay.
Ja, okay.
The old lady says, not that I know of. I might have a knife somewhere. Look at that side. On that side. The police goes, where? There. But I don't know. It's always clear. I always clear it out. Yes,
doch,
there
da
is
ist
one.
tatsächlich eins. Ja.
And the police say, oh yeah, yes, it's a small one. A piece of shit. So the police officer, the guy one with a very interesting, almost like a Charlie Chaplin mustache, oddly appropriate. He says, this is a problem. This is something like that would also be an administration offense.
Auch sowas jetzt grundsätzlich halt dann eine Ordnungswidrigkeit wäre.
This is why we must keep this knife. What a piece of shit.
Messer behalten.
Wow. So again, and thank God, at least I live in America. Well, specifically, I live in Texas. The great state, or some might argue the great country of Texas, where, again, people don't realize how rare and beautiful the Second Amendment is in the United States. I mean, you just had the dictator, the leader of Canada, Justin Trudeau, a couple months ago saying you don't have a right to self-defense with a firearm. You have to be a victim over there, and in Germany. So you can't own, and again, this is a Swiss Army knife you give kids when they join the Boy Scouts, when they turn like 8 or 9, I think. I mean, it's a cliche. Don't get me wrong. It's a great tool. You got the Swiss Army knife with the bottle opener, which, ironically, based on some countries, they probably use the bottle opener more than anything else. But an old lady can't have a pocket knife in Germany to defend herself with. Can't have that. Yeah, let's just say they force people to be victims in Europe and Canada and many countries is viscerally disgusting. One of my most favorite and prolific quotes of all time is someone said that God made man, but Samuel L. Colt made man equal. Since Samuel L. Colt was the first successful and patent holder and manufacturer of a revolver that actually successfully did revolve without misfires. That's why he was so infamous and such a big part of not just firearm history, but just being the great equalizer. Because again, you can weigh half as much as a bad guy, but Samuel L. Colt, he'll make you two equal very quick. It is so sad that even in the United States, like Illinois and New Jersey, you don't have the right to stand your ground and defend yourself. You have the legality is called the right to retreat, in which you're forced to leave the situation. So if a bad guy breaks into your house in New Jersey, legally speaking, you are forced to retreat. The legal duty is for you to remove yourself from the situation. It's disgusting. And yet another fall down of how pathetic German has become, and how if people need another reason not to visit there, yeah, you can't defend yourself there. The culture of Germany is so pathetic, and the people are not. Well, I'm not sure who they're voting for these days, but they need to change those votes immediately because, yeah, disgusting. Now, this went pretty viral. Got 2.4 million views as well as 42,000 likes. Well, the first comments comes from Catherine, and it's a picture of the bad Germans from World War II, and he's beating someone with a billy club, and the person being attacked he calls free speech. And then he says now it's the same person, but he has an Antifa sweater on. Another comment comes from Paul Zupa saying, quote, Germany has issues, getting 405 likes. A false flag, interesting profile name, says, quote, this is intentional destruction, the Galician dialect, problem, reaction, solution, problems manufactured so that you demand their solution. What's this? Oh, that's just some music. And I thought they fact-checked this video earlier this year. But it's about some of the riots in the UK. Got 107 likes. A lot of people are saying it's communist justice. Scrolling down more and more. Blind Faith Book says, remember when Facebook colluded with the German authorities to scrub social media posts and hundreds of reports of women being abused after the German media already agreed not to report them? The world is heading towards a dark place, getting 362 likes. And again, even more viscerally disgusting, they gave, some of those women were attacked. The women then proceeded to do a meme online about the illegal who did that to her, and she got in more trouble than the guy who hurt her. That's It's so disgusting. Christmas miracle would be like freedom happening everywhere. But in terms of that metric or that topic, I'm pretty skeptical to say the least. I saw a lot of people pointing out all the different instances of rioting in the UK and how you're allowed to defend yourself. A lot of people saying how important the First and Second Amendments are, which I absolutely agree. William Burrow says, "I don't carry my gun to impose my will on others. I carry a gun so others can't impose their will on me." An illustration of a mom holding a baby, getting 291 likes, holding I think it's a Glock 17. Looks like a little bit too big to be the 19. It has to be the Glock 17. A beautiful piece of Austrian engineering, mind you. We also have Logic and Facts. Says, quote, "The woke target the law-abiding citizens while enabling dangerous law-breaking foreigners. Their destructions of civilization," getting 209 likes. Ashlyn Bay says, "The real threat in Germany is grandma with a knife and not the real criminals," getting 867 likes. Exactly. So, not looking good as who the hell is this? That's hilariously stupid. Real FB Jokes says, "Britain has started a knife amnesty boxes. So if you feel like disarming yourself, there's a giant box, almost like a Blockbuster return for the VHSs way back in the day, aging myself a bit. But yeah, you can actually return your knife." That getting 45 likes, which, yeah, even it's even pathetic that some countries don't even give you a knife to defend yourself. Ridiculous. Yeah, but the culture of Germany continues to, viscerally just crumble as well. Let me know in the comments, do you think more countries will adopt this methodology as it continues to spread? And do you think, will the people finally vote differently or peacefully protest? Let's let more people know they're not fans of it. Or do you think, maybe they like it, they get what they vote for? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. And going over to the political part of the podcast, excuse me, Fani Willis disqualified from election interference case against Donald Trump, and CNN is having a meltdown, which I'm actually still surprised. Somehow, they're still in business. This comes to us thanks to Benny Johnson, who says, quote, "CNN is absolutely losing it over Fani Willis being disqualified from the election interference case against Donald J. Trump." It's about a couple minutes long here, but it's CNN.
We begin this hour with breaking news just into CNN. The Georgia prosecutor leading the state's election interference case against President-elect Donald Trump is now disqualified. CNN's Caitlin Polance is here with more. Caitlin, what can you tell us about this? This is just coming in the last several minutes. This is a big development.
A big development, and a big development that Donald Trump has wanted for a long time. That case against him in Georgia, the criminal case, where it's accusing him and several others of a racketeering conspiracy related.
I think that girl's from San Francisco and that cake thing. Kidding, partially.
To the 2020 election. It's already been paused. Now it's not even backburnered. This is a case that will be dead in the water because the Georgia Court of Appeals is now saying that Fani Willis, the leader of the prosecution against Donald Trump, the district attorney in Fulton County, Georgia, she should be disqualified from being able to bring that case. The Georgia Court of Appeals is saying that it's a significant appearance of impropriety caused by the conduct of a public prosecutor. That is Willis, how she behaved, how she was speaking.
Remember when her campaign funds just, weirdly enough, ended up as cash at her place? And when she was being asked about that, she goes, "Oh no, it's very common in my community for people to have copious amounts of cash in their house." Yes. Fani Willis, who also was having adult relations with a colleague. Yeah. But she's really good at dodgeball. She's exceptional at dodging accountability like leftists usually do.
About the case, about Trump, publicly, about how she was having a relationship with the top prosecutor that was concealed in this, a man named Nathan Wade. All of that, previously, the trial level judge had looked at and said, Fani Willis can stay on this case. We're not dismissing the indictment. But the Court of Appeals is now taking another look and saying, no. The trial judge was wrong. Fani Willis should be disqualified from continuing to lead this case. It would be a long process, or it will be a long process, to replace her, which is why I say this case is dead in the water now without Fani Willis, the person who was leading this case against Donald Trump in Fulton County. And just to keep tabs on how many cases there are against Donald Trump criminally, the other two in federal court, January 6th, and classified documents, those are dismissed. And then the additional case in New York City, where he was set to be sentenced, that sentencing is now not happening. So as Donald Trump enters the presidency, each of these courts that is handling a criminal case is essentially removing that issue from him to have to deal with in any period of time in the near future.
All right, Caitlin Polance, thanks for that added perspective. Let me bring in CNN.
All right, now go to the comments. Yeah, about 250,000 views and 15,000 likes. The first one comes from Mad Max 65,000 saying, quote, Fani and her lover boy ain't seen nothing yet. We want the transcripts. Cash is going to be busy. Game 112. Wow, 115, 116 right before our eyes. Sherry Cassie has a picture of Trump and Fani, and it says, you're fired, getting 39 likes. Sarah Smith says, bye. Fani Willis, and it says, disqualified, getting 120, 121 likes. Answered by question says, bye-bye. By the way, you wore the dress backwards on national TV, getting 19. Let's make it 20 likes, which, how do you mess that up? Like, I'm by no means a fashion expert, but even I know how to look at a shirt and see where the tag is and put it on right. Scrolling down more, you got Steve Happy saying, glorious, America is healing. We are making America great again, getting 27 likes. Bob says, Trump with another win. And Trump pointing says, nice try, genius, getting 50 likes. Let's see. Kelly says, Fani should look under her pillow and mattress for the money and get ready to shell out for the President Trump's future library, getting 32 likes. St. Lee says, I don't have a problem with that, getting 5 likes. Black Mary Conservative says, you can't tell me God isn't all over in Trump's life, getting 27, so get 28 likes. Yeah, so I mean, I can't think the case against him will just dissolve completely. But, perhaps that's the Christmas miracle all along. Let me know your thoughts are in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have the EPA allowing California to ban gas vehicles. Even though they can't even maintain the current demands now for the EVs, the electrical grid, and they have rolling brownouts, they're going to force everyone to drive EVs. Good job, California. Very smart. Aha, sarcasm. One of the most mentally vacuous states when it comes to, well, maybe personal freedoms or, business. They have so much regulation, most businesses have left. Even tech companies, that's how bad it's gotten. Some of the largest tech companies recently left California in the past couple of years. That's how overregulated it is. Ridiculous. I don't even know. I can't help but think, has there even been one business that's moved to California in the past 3 or 4 years? Hundreds have left. So many people have left California because of the ineptitudes and corruption of Gavin Newsom and their policies that U-Haul ran out of trucks. A first in the company's history because so many people were leaving California and not moving there. Now, this comes to Matthew, who's a writer at ABC News. Says, quote, EPA will allow California to ban gas-powered new car sales by 2023. Which, yep. So you're going to have increased cost and less convenience. They won't even allow you or permit you to charge your car at certain times of days because there's so much demand to the current grid. Now, they say, quote, California has been given the green light by the U.S. job kneecapping company, the EPA, to ban the new sale cars and light trucks by 2035. In 2022, California Air Resources Board approved a controversial plan dubbed the Advanced Clean Cars 2 regulations to begin phasing out sales of new powered gas cars and light trucks in the state. Yeah, also, I'm not sure if it's just the government being evil, wanting you to be defenseless or dependent on them, but California also banned gas lawnmowers, leaf blowers, and, wait for it, gas generators. So if you're not allowed to charge your EV on the grid, you're not allowed to actually use gasoline to charge your car either. You must be completely dependent on the government. Now, they continue saying, quote, in 2026, 35% of new car sales of light trucks sold in California would need to be zero emission according to the plan, followed by 68% in 2030. By 2035, only net zero cars and light trucks would be sold new in California through plug-in hybrids and gas, though plug-in hybrids and gas-powered used vehicles could continue to be sold, which I don't think everyone's just going to go to Nevada and other states and buy their new cars and then register them in California, which, again, great for those other states. They'll get some, depending on how you register your vehicle and where that money goes, depending on the state's the regulations, those other states might benefit by the increased business in that regard. Now, they say the EPA administrator, Michael Reagan, says, quote, California has a long-standing authority to request waivers from the EPA to protect its residents from dangerous air pollution coming from mobile sources like cars and trucks. Today's actions follow through the EPA's commitment to partner with states to kneecap economies and force crap on people they don't want. To partner with states to reduce emissions and act on the threat of climate change. And here you can see one of the plug-in hybrids, this is the EV Tesla, when you're allowed to charge it. Now, they continue saying, quote, In addition, the phase out of gas-powered new cars and light trucks, the EPA approved California's plan to reduce nitrogen emissions, a primary ingredient of smog from heavy-duty vehicles. The state will initially require a 75% reduction in NOx pollution and followed by a 90% decrease in a few years. Which, yeah, have fun getting your produce or any product moved in California. It's going to be near impossible. Because EV semi-trucks with the current technology are crap. The only good use case I can think of for EV semi-trucks, towing something that is large bulk but weighs nothing. Like Frito-Lay products in terms of their chips. The bags are mostly air. In that case, you need to move a lot of things. That does make sense. But for anything that weighs pretty much anything at all, again, tech moves quickly, might change tomorrow. But with current technology we have, it's going to be terrible. And again, not only will it be highly inefficient, but ridiculously, economically, and cruelly increase the cost of goods to consumers of pretty much everything. Now, they say that this is John Bonelza, the president and CEO of Auto Industry Association for Alliance of Automotive Innovation, which, about a long, awkward title, says, quote, "This was an expected development, and we expect President Trump to revoke the waiver in 2025. Hopefully." Again, Trump did say day one he's getting rid of the EV BS mandates by the U.S. government, which, again, right now, it's not called a gasoline ban per se, but there's a de facto ban on gasoline engines in the United States for vehicles because they are dramatically increasing not just the tailpipe emission standards, but also the fleet fuel economy averages. It's so bad that Ford almost had to pay almost $1 billion fine because they didn't sell enough of their crappy EVs to offset the other vehicles that they're selling. So it is a de facto ban on gas engines, make no mistake. And yeah, in terms of protecting U.S. manufacturers, I think, yeah, Trump needs to dramatically do that. In terms of EV sales, Tesla dominates it. Chevrolet, part of General Motors, is just past Ford. They're getting there, but still can't hold a candlelight to anyone. Also in regards to liability, not just sales. So hopefully Trump reverses this. Now, a lot of people are wondering, is California, who cares? We all have to, unfortunately. Not only is California some might say an infection point in terms of infecting other states with the ideology and laws almost being like a domino effect, but California is the 10th largest automobile market on the planet. There's so many people who, I have no idea why, but they still choose to live there. I guess if you're Mark Zuckerberg and you have, Google bucks, well, in his case, Facebook bucks, you can afford to pay the cost of living there. But personally, I have no appetite for doing that, as well as I want to be disarmed, so I wouldn't live there. But again, it is the 10th largest market on the planet for new car sales. That's why so many businesses, especially automotive, they all will acquiesce to their standards and their regulations because they don't want to miss out on the market. It's the same reason firearm companies will acquiesce to the BS 10-round mandate that California has, where a lot of people, people in Texas, especially in the Midwest, we laugh when you hear, oh yeah, this gun only has a 10-round capacity. No, that's comical. No one would ever intentionally neuter a firearm except for California, and that's why they make those firearms for that large market. So it's one of those things where you have to care about this market. That's why we'll see. Again, it'll be a state versus federal thing. We'll see what will happen in terms of what can Trump do to save this instance, especially for the consumer's choice and nice good old gas engines. But that's why it's a big deal. I mean, shoot, that would certainly be the Christmas miracle, especially for folks who like V8s and stick shifts like myself. But yeah, I'm a little skeptical, and we'll see what happens with California. And who knows, maybe EPA will be completely disbanded. Who knows? One can always hope. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, because as always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Bluetooth speakers for children being recalled because they might, burst into flames. So, yeah, yet another reason why kids don't need tech. What's wrong with a good old paper book? No batteries. I mean, pretty much unlimited usage unless you spill juice or something on it. A great ROI. Though I know I'm an old soul. I think even of my peers, I think I'm one of the few people I know who actually buy hardcover books and paper books. But I partially digress. Of course, kids have to have the little Bluetooth speakers. Now, this comes to us thanks to the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission, which might very well be one of 3 instances where the government actually does something useful. I was shocked the first time I came across this site. I almost had to do a double take. I'm like, this actually has some valuable information? Really? I was shocked myself. This might be one of the 3 things they do right. But I partially kid. The private sector can do this infinitely more effective. Or I'll probably have to find a better site soon. But nevertheless, they say, quote, Yoto reannounces recall of Yoto mini speakers for children due to burn and fire hazards. New full battery replacement kit now available. Which, talk about rudimentary design. But I guess sales. I guess that's, I guess. It's all, I guess it's ultra simple, a simplistic design. Now, they know that this recall will affect about 251,165 units, in addition to 18,932 that were sold in Canada. They also know that speakers were previously recalled in April of 2024. Now, they note that, quote, the recall involves the Yoto Mini, a portable, connected, screen-free speaker intended for children ages 3 to 12, which, why would a 3-year-old need, don't get me started on that crap, people buy kids. The Yoto Mini is operated by use of Yoto cards and designed to play audiobooks, music, radio, and podcast. Like perhaps the awesome Topping Show podcast on Spotify, as well as Apple Podcasts and all of your popular platforms. But nevertheless, the speakers were pale gray and orange tactile controls and pixel display. The model name Yoto Mini SK SKU PRP LXX00860. Again, the SKU is PRP LXX00860, and serial number are located on the base of the product. The recalled Yoto Mini was sold with a charging cable included, but no power adapter or charger. Way to cheap out, speaker company. Not just a product safety, but little knickknacks you need for it as well. Now, they note that the remedy is consumers should immediately stop using the recalled speakers, take them away from the children, and contact Yoto to receive a free battery replacement kit. Customers should also request a battery replacement kit, even if it already received the smart cable from an April 2024 recall. This product has had, again, multiple recalls. They know they're sold online at yotoplay.com, Amazon, Target.com, never heard of this one, Massionate.com, and toy and gift stores nationwide during November 2021 to April 2024 for about $70. Who the hell is paying for this crap? Parents are buying a $70 speaker for a kid? You buy a good book on the Amazon or any bookstore for like $7 to $18. They're paying $70 for a little speaker? That's just ridiculous. Now, they also know that the recall number, if you want to call them, is 25-065. Again, 25-065, which, yeah, I mean, seems this has already burned a couple folks, not just fiscally speaking, but also, burns. They say Yoto has received 9 reports from U.S. consumers and 3 from the UK, where a consumer had instances of the speaker overheating or melting. Thankfully, though, I guess no one's been injured, or no injuries have been reported, so a little silver lining there. But yeah, I mean, I swear, when you have a child product or a product intended for the children audience, I mean, a good rule, you should do double the quality assurance. Because again, not just morally, but you're going to have bad PR, and it's going to be bad for everyone all around. It just, again, parents are when it comes to brands, building that trust is very hard, and regaining it is even harder. So yeah, I don't know who's in charge of the quality department. They say they ever had 2 recalls for this thing. Yeah, not a good thing. So gotta say, Yoto, your little Bluetooth speaker recall is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and have a Merry Christmas.